Watch closely the next time someone tries to provoke a man who has genuinely arrived, not the man performing confidence, not the man who read about composure in a book, the man who has actually built something quietly, consistently, over years, the man whose identity does not live in anyone else's opinion of him. What happens when someone challenges that man? When a rival makes a public accusation? When a competitor questions his character in front of others? Nothing. He does not flinch. He does not reach for his phone to craft a response. He does not pull people aside to correct the record. He continues doing exactly what he was doing before the attack arrived. Building, moving, creating. And the strange thing, the thing that takes most people years to understand, is that this non-response is not weakness. It is the single most powerful signal a man can send. Today, we are going to break down exactly why, what it means, where it comes from, and how to actually get there, not as a strategy, but as a genuine state of being. Before anything else, you need to understand what is actually happening when someone attacks your character, because most men read it wrong. They see an accusation and they think, I need to correct this. I need people to know the truth. I need to set the record straight. That instinct is completely understandable, and it is exactly what the attack was designed to trigger. Here is what is actually going on. When a competitive person attacks your character, when they question your motives, challenge your integrity, or try to diminish your standing in front of others, they are not primarily making a statement about you. They are placing a bet. They are betting that your sense of worth is fragile enough that it requires their validation to stay intact. They are betting that your identity is housed, at least partially, in other people's perception of you. They are betting that if they create enough doubt in the room, you will feel the need to step in and defend yourself. And the moment you do, the moment you accept their invitation to justify yourself, you have confirmed the bet. You have shown everyone watching that your emotional state can be moved by their opinion, that you need the room to think well of you, that your self-worth is, in fact, negotiable. That is the trap, and understanding it clearly is the first step to never walking into it again. Why the bait works on most men. Think about the last time someone said something unfair about you, not even publicly, just in a conversation. What happened inside you? Something tightened. Your mind immediately started building a case. You began mentally rehearsing what you would say if given the chance to respond. You started thinking about who else might have heard it and what they might now believe. That internal activation, that immediate pull toward defense, is not a character flaw. It is a deeply human response. We are social animals. Our reputation historically was directly linked to our survival. The tribe's opinion of us determined our access to resources, allies, and safety. So the instinct to defend is ancient. It is wired in, and competitive people, whether consciously or not, know how to activate it. They make an accusation they know is not entirely accurate. They frame it publicly enough that silence might seem like agreement. They choose a moment when your guard is likely down, and then they wait. Because the defensive response, when it comes, does more damage than the original accusation ever could. A man explaining himself to someone who has already decided not to understand him is not making his case. He is making theirs. Every justification you offer is fuel. Every clarification gives them something new to reframe. Every attempt to be understood by someone committed to misunderstanding you becomes fresh ammunition in their hands. This is the architecture. Now you can see it for what it is. The hidden tax on every defense. There is an obvious cost to defending yourself. The time it takes, the emotional energy it consumes, the way it pulls your focus from what you are building toward what someone else is saying about it. But there is a less obvious cost that does far more damage. When you defend yourself to a competitive person, you are implicitly communicating something about how you see yourself. You are saying, their opinion of me has enough power to alter my state. Their frame of my character is worth entering. The possibility that they are right is real enough that I need to address it. None of that is what you intend to communicate, but it is what is received. And here is what is even more telling. The people watching, the ones whose opinion might actually matter to you, do not need your defense. The people who know you already know the truth. The people who do not know you yet will form their opinion based on what they observe over time. And that opinion will be shaped far more by how you carry yourself than by what you say in response to an attack. Defending yourself to the wrong audience is not just ineffective. It is actively counterproductive. It makes you look smaller precisely when the situation demands that you look larger. Your reaction to an attack tells people more about you than the attack ever could. Choose what you tell them. The energy diverted to justification is energy taken directly from the work that created your value in the first place. Every hour spent managing a competitive rival's perception is an hour not spent getting better. And getting better, consistently, quietly over time, is the only response that actually changes anything. What your silence actually communicates. Let me be precise about what strategic silence is, because it is widely misunderstood. It is not sulking. It is not passive aggression. It is not the cold withdrawal of someone who has been hurt and does not know what to say. Those things leak. People can feel the wound underneath them. Real silence, the kind that carries power, comes from a completely different place. It comes from a man who simply does not require the moment to go differently than it is going, who is not managing his emotions because his emotions are not running him, who looks at the attack and registers it for what it is, a bid for his reaction, and declines the bid. That man's silence says something specific. It says, your opinion of me is not information I need. Your frame of my character is not a frame I'm willing to enter. The question you are implicitly asking, do you need my approval to feel secure, has an answer, and the answer is no. Watch what happens in a room when someone attacks a man and the man simply continues. Does not respond, does not shift, does not show the tells of someone managing a reaction they wish they were not having. Just continues. The room registers it, not loudly, but it registers. Something shifts in how he is perceived, not because he won an argument, because he demonstrated without saying a single word that he operates on a level the attack could not reach. When you refuse to defend yourself to someone committed to misunderstanding you, you are not losing the argument. You are declining to have it on their terms. That is not retreat. That is the highest form of control. The competitive person needs a reaction to feel relevant. Take that away completely, calmly, without drama, and the attack collapses under its own weight. There is nothing to push against, nothing to reframe, nothing to escalate. They are left to shadow box against a reflection of their own hostility. Where high value actually lives here is the real conversation underneath all of this. The reason competitive attacks work on most men is not because the attacks are well crafted or the accusations are particularly damaging. It is because most men's sense of their own worth is at least partly housed in external validation, in how they are seen, in whether the room agrees with their self-assessment. And that is an entirely understandable place to be. We live in a social world. Other people's perception matters. Reputation has real consequences. But here is the distinction that changes everything. There is a difference between reputation mattering and your inner peace, depending on it. Between caring about how your work is received and requiring approval to feel stable. Between wanting to be respected and needing to be defended. The high-value man knows his character not because others confirm it. He knows it because he lives it. In the decisions nobody sees, in the integrity he maintains when no one is watching, in the private commitments he keeps even when it would be easier not to. That kind of character does not need a witness to be real. It exists independent of whether anyone is looking. And a man who knows this, who has built this, cannot be destabilized by someone else's opinion of him. Not because he does not care at all, but because his sense of self is not located where their attack can reach it. Character built in private cannot be destroyed in public. That is the only security that lasts. How this actually looks in real life. Let me bring this somewhere specific, because understanding the principle is one thing. Executing it in the moment, when your name is being questioned in front of people whose opinion matters to you, is another thing entirely. 3 practical anchors, not scripts, not techniques. Anchors, things you hold on to when the pull toward defense is strongest. The first anchor, ask yourself who is actually watching and why their opinion matters. The people who know you already know the truth. The people who do not know you yet will watch what you do next, not what you say next. Your silence, executed with calm, teaches them more about your character than any defense could. The second anchor is the timeline. In 6 months, in a year, what will matter more? That you corrected the record in that room, or that you continued building the thing that made the attack worth attempting in the first place? Long-term success is a testimony that requires no amplification and tolerates no refutation. The third anchor is the simplest and the hardest. Notice the activation inside you. Feel the tightening, the pull, the urge to respond, and then do nothing with it. Not suppression, awareness. Let the feeling exist without acting on it. That gap between stimulus and response is where your power lives. None of this means you never address false information. In some professional contexts, legal matters, serious public accusations, a response may be warranted. The distinction is this: you respond from a place of clarity and necessity, not from a place of emotional reactivity trying to dress itself up as strategy. Responding because you need to is weakness. Responding because you have chosen to, from a place of complete calm, is something else entirely. There's a final thought here that I want to leave with you. The men who have genuinely arrived, the ones who move through the world with that quality of settled authority that makes other people feel both inspired and slightly uncomfortable, they share one thing that has nothing to do with technique or strategy. They are too busy building to defend, not as a performance of being too busy, not as a curated image of someone unbothered, actually too invested in what they are creating to divert meaningful energy toward what someone else is saying about it. The work is the answer, not in the sense of let your work speak for itself as a platitude, in the literal sense that sustained, visible results over time make every character attack irrelevant. You cannot argue with a man's track record. You cannot reframe what is undeniably in front of you. When you are 10 years into building something real, the people who questioned your character in year 2 look like footnotes. The attack that felt enormous in the moment becomes a data point. Information about who your competitors were afraid of. That is the only testimony worth leaving, and it writes itself, one consistent action at a time. High-value men do not defend their character to competitive people, not because they do not care, because they care about the right things. And what a rival thinks of them is not on that list. They understand a game being played. They recognize the bait. They know the real cost of defense. And they have built themselves a self-worth that does not require external validation to stand upright. Their silence is not absence. It is presence. The specific, undeniable presence of a man who knows exactly who he is and requires no one's agreement to continue being it. If this way of thinking resonates with you, Mind Tactics Lab is here every week. Real conversations about the psychology of self-mastery, influence, and the quiet decisions that separate the men who build from the men who react. Before you leave, drop a comment with one word that describes the last time you felt the pull to defend yourself unnecessarily. One word. That word is worth thinking about. The work continues. Make sure yours does too.